Peace and blessings, everyone. I'm Aura, creatress of Fierce Feminine Rise, and today we're talking about the seasons and the menstrual cycle. Ooh la la! So, the seasons and the menstrual cycles, starting with the pre ovulation stage. This is connected to the season of spring, which we are currently orbiting in at this moment. If you are in the northern hemisphere, we are in full spring mode. So spring can be seen as the pre-ovulation of a woman's menstrual cycle. This is when the body is gearing up to release this egg. It's generating more energy. So during the cycle, you might feel like your energy is revving up, like you're available for more things. It's a great time to create. And yeah, I think if you think about spring, it is a time of blossoming. You can see all of these flowers blossoming and the trees beginning to like twinkle out their leaves and grow. It's so beautiful. So it's the same, right? In our own bodies as women, in our menstrual season of pre-ovulation, all of these colors are starting to sprout, all of these creative ideas and these inspirations and these musings and these intuitive nudges are guiding us to take action, right? And then we get into the ovulation stage of a woman's menstrual cycle. And this ovulation stage can be represented as the season summer season. It is in full bloom. The sun is hot, right? A woman's body gets hot as she heats up to release this egg, right? This egg that wants to be fertilized, it wants to be utilized. It's full of life force energy, full on life force energy that wants to be used, that wants to be generate something in some way. So that is the ovulation stage. That is when you can feel your sexual appetite might increase. You're definitely the most maybe passionate, you have the most vital life force energy up until ovulation phase to create, to do, to, it's just a very potent time in your season, which is reminding me because we're in spring, summer, okay. It's a potent time to create, and it's a potent time to really be sure that we are utilizing the energy in a way that is going to be supportive to us throughout the rest of the cycles and the rest of the seasons. Are we listening to those intuitive nudges? Are we taking action on those creative ideas or inspirations that come through? Are we moving with momentum, right? Because after summer, we move into fall or autumn. And this is connected to the menstrual phase of premenstrual phase. It's the premenstrual phase, and this is the time where, you know, the term has been coined, PMS happens, premenstrual syndrome, where hormones are actually shifting in our bodies. So yeah, the mood is not going to be stable if these hormones are shifting around, right? But we can also do different embodiment practices to support us during this time, because the autumn, the fall, it can leave us feeling cold and isolated, right? Like it's starting to get cold out. Your body wants to be warm. It wants to be nurtured. It wants to be held. And if you haven't been doing that during the summer season, right, then you're going to be worn out and tired during autumn or right before you're going to get your cycle, the premenstrual, right? The egg was not ovulated. It ovulated, but the egg was not penetrated by the sperm or absorbed really by the sperm, because there's no penetration actually happening. The egg chooses which sperm it wants to bring in, but there was no sperm, right? No sperm. So this egg is going to deteriorate and it's going to break down. And it attached to the uterine lining. So that uterine lining is also going to is going to, diminish over time. And what happens is those muscles start contracting in the pelvis. The pelvic floor muscles start activating to release that uterine lining, to release the egg that wasn't utilized, that energy to create another life, which is phenomenal, by the way. That's a whole nother topic, a whole nother video. But okay, so autumn, right? Premenstrual. And I don't want to go too deep on this video, but I do think it's important for me to share that a lot of times this can be the toughest part for those who experience their menstrual. Okay, the storage, I guess it wasn't meant for me to go into it. So I'm going to go into the next season, which is winter. And that is during menstruation. That's when we're actually bleeding. So that egg, that uterine lining deteriorates, comes out of the vagina. And that is the winter time. And that can be a tough time. A lot of women who have menstrual cycles, or those who identify as women who have menstrual cycles, can feel a lot of pain during this season, this particular season of winter. Can feel a little crazy maybe, or feel like they're exhausted or overworked. Like they don't have space to rest. And if you think about the season of winter, it's usually a time for more rest. The sun sets earlier, so we're having more nightfall, more time to rest, to turn in earlier. And winter is also, being more inward, being with yourself, being at home. And if you think about that time when you're menstruating, it's a great time to be at home and to be with ourselves and to nurture ourselves and take care of ourselves and honor that winter season. It's cold, right? And winter, it's cold outside. You're not really trying to be out and about and super playful and out there. You want to be cozy and warm and inside, and maybe drinking hot teas and having nice nourishing soups. So yeah, those are the menstrual cycles connected to the seasons. And it brings me so much joy to share this. I have learned this from a few different sources, but one namely I want to mention is my mentor, Reka Karup. I've definitely learned some depth of wisdom with the She Stands Tall project and the way that these cycles deepen to other levels and different layers. And so in due time, maybe we will go a little deeper. But for now, those are the two we have merged, and you can begin to see how this merges with your own cycle, and then how it even merges with the seasonal cycle that you're currently living in, right? So where we're at in the actual season, currently in the Northern Hemisphere, we're in spring. In the Southern, it would be autumn or fall. And then where you're at in your menstrual cycle. Do you know where you're at? Do you know if you're premenstrual? Do you know if you're menstruating? Do you know if you're pre-ovulating? Do you know if you're ovulating? Those are great things to know, because you can start connecting that to the seasons and seeing how you can incorporate some new embodiment practices to support yourself during those different seasons and shifts and cycles. Yeah, for balance, optimal balance and harmony. So I hope that supports you, and infinite blessings.